Have you guys seen the new proposed law in North Carolina? Now, the title of it's regarding wholesaling, but this is so much bigger than just wholesaling. Crazy town, man. That's what we're talking about today on the Sub2 Deals Show. Hey, deed grabbers, welcome to this episode of the Sub2 Deals Show, where we talk about all things subject to. Now, today, we're actually talking about a proposed, it's a bill right now in North Carolina. It hasn't been signed into law yet, but my goodness, if this thing uh, actually becomes law, it will literally end real estate investing as we know it, at least in that state. Listen, when I found out about this, and this was just introduced here in the last couple of weeks, and read it, I just couldn't believe it. Now, initially, everybody's talking about it being a wholesaling law, but it's so much more than that. Just a few things really quickly. According to this bill, if it goes through as written currently, you can no longer solicit or contact a homeowner to buy their property unless you intend to live in it. Now, that's not wholesaling. That is any individual, even if you're not a real estate investor. Maybe you're just an average Joe, you work a job and you think that you might like to plan for retirement and buy a couple of rental properties. And you, for example, your next door neighbor is putting their house up for sale, and you can't even legitimately go over there and speak to them about purchasing their house unless you involve a licensed broker or realtor to assist you in that. I mean, this is just absolutely nuts. You cannot sell or offer to sell, buy or offer to buy, negotiate or otherwise deal in contracts for residential property or an equitable interest. Now, this is what we all know is wholesaling. Selling a contract or selling an equitable interest on a property. You cannot market, assign, or sell a purchase contract for residential property. Again, now that is wholesaling. Where it gets crazy, though, is like I said earlier, where you cannot even speak to a homeowner. And they get pretty specific here, too. No communication with a homeowner through mail, telephone, in-person oral communication, or electronic communication for the purpose of offering to enter into a purchase contract for a homeowner's residential property. I mean, that is, the title. And let's just take a look at this actual bill here to get an idea about what we're dealing with here. It is called, short title, Residential Property Wholesaling Protection. But what they say time and time again in here is property wholesaling and related transactions. Okay. And if you go through this thing, and let's just go through it. A real estate broker within the meaning of this chapter is any person, partnership, corporation, LLC, or association, or other business entity who, for compensation or valuable consideration or promise thereof, lists or offers to list, sells or offers to sell, buys or offers to buy. Okay. And this is where this affects everybody. This isn't just investors. This is certainly not just wholesalers. This is anybody who wants to buy residential real estate that they don't intend to live in. Residential property wholesaling or related transactions means any of the following acts: soliciting a homeowner to enter into a purchase contract unless the residential property will be used as the residence of the soliciting party. Okay. And not only does this deal with contracts, and if you read this and continue to go through it, you'll see that it also deals in options. What does that mean? Can you no longer lease option a property from someone unless you involve a real estate agent in that transaction? And it goes on to define residential property and what it is specifically, of course, anything 4 units or less. This is the Residential Property Wholesaling and We Buy Houses Homeowner Protection Act. So it's looping everyone into the We Buy Houses category. And it's intended to protect homeowners from the unfair and deceptive practices involved in residential property wholesaling. Again, we see this, and related transactions. So this is not simply something to stop wholesalers. This is intended to stop real estate investors, period. In which homeowners are not provided with accurate information regarding the fair market value of their homes or the monetary incentives of the person or entity soliciting them to sign a purchase agreement. I'll tell you this, and I don't know about you guys and how you run your business. Every seller that we deal with knows the value of their property. And I've given examples of this time and time again. We bought a foreclosure property last month from a lady that was going to lose her house at the auction. She was very clear. She told us the value of her house. We already knew. But she had her motivations for wanting to get rid of it. I spoke with a gentleman this morning that's in foreclosure, and he knows the value of his property, but he's looking for a solution there. And knows that he will have to give up some equity because we are investors and we buy for profit. That's made very plain. So what is my obligation to, and I've asked this question before, what is my obligation to share the true value of what someone is selling to me if they don't know? Okay. Now, I don't go out to dupe people. I run ads. I market to buy houses. Let's say, for example, and you guys see this time and time again, people go to a yard sale and they see some type of trinket or a doodad that they happen to know is very rare and may sell for thousands of dollars that they buy for 25 cents. Now, who regulates that industry? Why can the National Association of Realtors control us simply buying or selling property? Why is that? Why do they feel like they need to insert themselves into these transactions? So let's go back to this and read a little bit more. It's really interesting. A homeowner who is party to a residential property wholesaling or related transaction shall have the right to cancel the contract for 30 days until midnight of the 30th day, and the right to cancel shall not be waivable. That means that you can't put in your contract that the homeowner's aware that they have 30-day rights to cancel, but they are waiving those rights. You can't do it that way, okay? Notice of cancellation shall be given, and it gives the ways that the homeowner can give you a notice of cancellation. Within 10 days of this transaction, any payments of any kind made by the homeowner shall be refunded to the homeowner. And not only that, but in the event of a cancellation under this section, any earnest money that the investor or whoever's buying the home may have paid to the homeowner shall remain the property of the homeowner. They don't even have to return earnest money. Okay. It's just really, really unusual. And as someone, I made a post about this on my Facebook wall last night. And as somebody pointed out in there, they said, this was really, really well thought through. Just crazy. It's only a 3-page bill. Unfair, deceptive acts. Anybody engaging in these shall be found to be committing unfair, deceptive acts. I mean, it's just really crazy. Like I said, it's not law yet. If it does become law, it'll become effective October 1st, 2025. And like I said, the thing about this is, this isn't just about wholesaling. This is about investing. This is about property ownership rights, the right to buy and sell real estate. Now, do I expect this to become law as it's written? No, I don't. I don't see how it could. It's got to be unconstitutional in some way to prevent someone from having a conversation with someone else about buying a piece of real estate. I can't imagine. Now, this is the long game that the realtors have been playing for years, is to put in place rules where real estate cannot be bought or sold without them being involved in collecting a commission. I've said this for a long time. You guys have heard me complain and talk about realtors for years, and it's just because of things like this. Now, curiously, I looked this up this morning just to be sure I was fairly certain, and turns out I was right. The National Association of Realtors is the largest lobbying group in the country. In 2024, they spent $86 million influencing your representatives to put things in place like this to take away your rights. So if you live in North Carolina, look out. And the worst part of this is that it's like the frog. Everybody's heard the analogy of the frog in the pot of water. If you throw a frog in a pot of water that's already boiling, the frog will jump out and save himself. But if you put him in a pot that's cool and you turn the flame up just a little bit, he'll slowly just boil to death. And it's the same thing here. If this thing happens in North Carolina, it's going to happen someplace else. And when will the end of investing actually happen? On my Facebook post about this, I had a lot of people comment on it, a lot of well-respected people in the industry. And one person pointed out the fact that you just need to be prepared. You need to have private money lined up and funding to do these things. But this bill is so much more. It wouldn't make any difference if you had private funding. It wouldn't make any difference if you had cash to buy these properties. According to this, as it's written, you cannot speak to someone else about buying a piece of real estate unless you have an agent involved and somebody's going to collect a commission. And, I equated it to having to pay protection money to the mob to operate your business. This has got to be unconstitutional. It's a big problem. And I don't think people are really paying attention to this. They think it's another wholesaling bill, but it's really not. So we'll put a link in the show notes here to the bill. It's only 3 pages. Take a look at it and let me know what you think about it. Wholesaling is, in my opinion, and I'm an investor, wholesaling, in my opinion, is a business model right now that is run over with bad actors. Now, that's a fact. And there are bad investors just in general out there. But this isn't the solution. People need to be able to buy and sell real estate without someone there to collect 6 or 7% for doing absolutely nothing. I certainly don't need an agent's help to tell me how to have a conversation and complete a sale with the seller. Every seller that sells to us feels like it's the best thing for them. It's the best solution to the problem that they have right now. And I'll tell you, over the years, I have seen countless agents not work in the best interest of a seller and actually let homes go to foreclosure before they would release them from their contract obligation to pay them a commission. I'm telling you, for a group of people who talk so much about ethics, I find very little ethics among most agents that I run into. And I'll tell you, this is just insane. I told them in that post, I said, I'm rarely speechless, but this is just incredible. This is really unbelievable. It's not just wholesalers. If you buy and sell real estate, if you intend to buy real estate that you don't live in, it affects you. And you need to be talking to your representatives in North Carolina or whoever is going to make this thing a reality, because right now they're accepting money from the National Association of Realtors to get it pushed through. So it's just crazy, guys. I don't even know what to say about it more than just read it and give me your thoughts on it anyway. So just crazy stuff going on in the market today. Listen, while you still can, if you want to learn how to follow our business model that we've used for the past 15 years to buy houses and create cash flow, I'd like to invite you to pick up a copy of our book. And you can do that at 12houseblueprintbook.com. We got a ton of bonuses there for you. It's a really simple model. And with stuff like this going on, man, I don't know how long you'll be able to do it. So you better get out there and pick it up and do it. And listen, if you're listening to our podcast on Apple or Google or Stitcher, or one of the other podcast broadcasters out there, check us out on our YouTube channel. You can find that at sub2tv.com. That's sub2tv.com. So if you're in North Carolina, talk to your representatives, get this thing taken care of. And so until next time we talk to you, get out there, talk to some sellers, buy some houses.